regarding this as an invasion, I was thinking a couple days ago, I've been thinking this for a while, even if the Biden administration had tried to defend our country against the invasion, there was like 12 million, you found it?
Wrong article.
Okay.
My bad.
Which you got?
It's Article 1, Section 9.
Based.
The privilege of habeas corpus shall not be suspended unless when in cases of rebellion or invasion, the public safety may require it.
So you might think, is it an invasion if they don't have weapons? Well, technically, yes. So even if the Biden administration had defended our borders against it and only 3 million people got through instead of 12 million, we'd still have to do something about those 3 million people.
The Biden administration invited people, and they didn't do anything to prevent illegal immigration. They were not defending the border. This is, to me, this is obvious, right? I know that there are a lot of people that are going to be like, oh, well, this is a problem and the president can't do this or it's unconstitutional. There was absolutely an invasion of millions and millions and millions and millions of people that the previous administration just allowed into the country. The only way you can get rid of them, and we've talked about this, you are not going to be able to have every single person go in front of the judge, and that's what the left wants. So take that option off the table. Other presidents in history have done it during unprecedented times. This is an unprecedented situation. Do it.
So I'll tell you where my mistake was. I was assuming this is under Article 2 because it relates to the president's powers because presidents did this. However, the argument that people have is that Section 9 pertains to the legislative branch. And I don't know that actually is true just because it's under Article 1, which Section 1 states legislative powers vested in Congress and largely deals with Congress. And the reason I say this is that Abraham Lincoln suspended the writ of habeas corpus unilaterally. And it was only a few years later Congress actually passed a bill basically saying, yeah, that was okay, like that he did that. So the question is going to be, can the president unilaterally do this? Well, the precedent is that he can.
Of course he can.
And this is going to get very interesting. I don't know. I got no answers for you. We can't exist in a country where you can let in 20 million illegal immigrants and then Trump can't use standard deportation powers.
Right, because if it happens again, you just can't.
It's not even just about Trump. It's about the following administration trying to right a wrong that the previous administration did. They neglected to do their job. Joe Biden himself said you should surge the border, invited anyone that could get here into the country, and then they started shipping them throughout the country in order to change the political makeup of the several states. That's what the HHS was doing with the refugee resettlement program. These are all well documented. We talked about this. That was a real program that the HHS was doing. It's not happening anymore under Kennedy, thankfully. But the remedy for this is to get the people that are here illegally out of here. And if the requirement to put them in front of a judge, which I don't even think that that's actually a requirement anyways, but if that's the narrative that the left's going for, or that's what people want to see, just get rid of the habeas corpus for non-citizens. And this shouldn't be a blanket for all Americans. If you're in the U.S. and you're a citizen, you should, of course, you should have your the right to habeas corpus, but when it comes to, here, if people that are here illegally, just ship them out.
What about people on green cards, legal visitors?
Well, those people wouldn't be subject to deportation for being here illegally.
But if they had habeas corpus stripped, if only citizens remained with habeas corpus, what would that mean exactly for people that were here on a green card?
I think that the State Department could come up with a solution for that.
But
the state would say, okay, you're here on a green card, then okay, you can stay, because green cards are something that are at the discretion of the State Department. So,
or like a visa.
Those are also
someone's here on a visa.
Those are also at the discretion.
But so if the habeas corpus was suspended for a human in the United States, what would that mean? They have no civil rights?
No, that just means that means to deport them, they don't have to go in front of a judge.
What other rights do they lose?
This means specifically one thing. Illegal immigrants right now can be subject to expedited removal. They don't go before judges. That's just not a thing that happens. An ICE agent can see a guy and say, we have reason to believe that you're an illegal immigrant. You have paper, you have an ID or whatever. If the suspicion rises to probable cause, then they can detain you for longer and try and figure things out. Meaning, do they think your documents are forged? But let's say what typically happens. A guy comes in, they say, what are you doing? They say, oh, I've come here, I don't have any paperwork or whatever. Okay, expedited removal. That means we can get you out of here ASAP. You don't go before a judge. That's most of the cases. That's what Obama was doing to the tunes of millions. Suspending habeas corpus means that the people who live here, who are considered MS-13 or Tren de Aragua, that have been adjudicated as such, will not get a hearing. They will be deported right away. So the Supreme Court basically said everybody's got to get a habeas hearing. That's where, when they arrest somebody, they can go before a judge and determine whether or not it was lawful detainment or arrest. Do we have the right to hold you? But in the instance of like Kilmar Abrego Garcia, 2 courts had already adjudicated him as a member of MS-13. The only due process issue that's being questioned is he was supposed to get an interview with a USCIS agent to determine whether or not the circumstances in El Salvador had changed. They have changed, so he is safe. So it's only a technicality that he didn't get his review after the fact. The Trump administration could probably do that review and it would be over. And they could even do it from here, from the office, without interviewing the guy. They just be like, we review the circumstances of El Salvador. He's fine. He's safe in prison. Have fun. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.